Hey, I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you how many times a week you should be fasting. So this is particularly on intermittent fasting, but I'm basically going to answer a lot of the questions because people seem to be asking me quite a bit about if it's too much fasting or not enough or what's the sweet spot, but I'll get into it in this video. And before we do, if you could like the video, that will make YouTube show my content to more people. That is the least you can do to help me grow my page, and that is all I ask of you. Also, follow me on Instagram and subscribe here. Let's get into it. Alright, I got the beanie on, haven't shaved, I'm a complete mess, so bear with me. I'm trying to play catch up and get a lot of different projects done. Keto Manifesto, be excited for it. Keto Shred Guide, be excited for it. Okay, I'm trying to finish these things ASAP and working on some other big videos, and this is all in between my other jobs, so really trying to crank this stuff out, and that's why I'm a mess. So, when we're talking about how much fasting you should be doing, for starters, the first answer is that you are not going to lose muscle if we're talking intermittent fasting. Okay, now granted, if you're somebody who's completely brand new and you're jumping into no fasting at all into like fasting every single day or for long periods of time, then there might be some muscle loss. Okay, I can explain that later in this video, but that's the start. Now, for people who have been fasting routinely, even just a couple times a week, and maybe you want to amp it up, maybe you think it's too much, here is the answer for you. The answer, to make it short, is fast as much as you like, okay? Literally, if we're talking intermittent fasting, you could do it every single day. Some people say, oh, there's going to be metabolic down regulations and stuff. No, your metabolism is going to speed up when you are not eating because your body receives the signal that there is more demand to metabolize things, okay? When you are not eating, because if you're eating all the time, your metabolism is going to slow down. Your digestive system is going to be working harder, okay? So that's the starting premise here. As a side note, for myself personally, this is something that I don't even mention because it's just second nature to me, but I basically fast for about 20 hours every single day. Whether I'm bulking, whether I'm cutting, maybe if I'm bulking, I'll try to eat a meal earlier in the day on a keto bulk sort of thing. But in general, I fast every single day just because I'm at a point where my blood sugar control is very good. And, I've been doing keto for 9 years, almost 10. So basically, this is a situation where somebody's getting highly adapted and they just don't care about food anymore. You still like food, but you don't crave it, okay? And you go through your day with your lifestyle taking the lead, which is what I always recommend for you, okay? So for me, intermittent fasting is a tool that I use all the time because if I'm cranking out a lot of work, if I'm a mess because I'm working on multiple different projects, it's because I'm using that time where I have that willpower, I have that mental focus, okay? Sympathetic nervous system activation from intermittent fasting, and I will use that time to work, and eating comes second. And literally, that is the definition of letting your lifestyle take the lead. I'm not forcing, myself to not eat. It literally is just second nature at this point because I have shit to do. Okay, this is how you should use intermittent fasting as a practicality recommendation. Now, if you've seen my videos, you've seen my body updates, my physique updates. Does it look like I've lost any muscle? I certainly don't think so. My weight scale has not reflected this. Now, granted, intermittent fasting is a great tool to dial up the acceleration of your fat loss goals if you're very aggressive, okay? It's a great way to step on the gas a little bit more. If you use it, in a way where your calories are in check, your macros are good, etc. You're handling it in a progressive manner. But the thing is, when we're talking about doing it every single day, are you going to run into problems? Some people, if you are coming from a very overweight background, you might have, some taxation on your thyroid that you're not used to. So it would be wise for you to, if it's, example, underactive thyroid, get a little bit of iodine in your day. Perhaps do the sort of iodine supplementation with tyrosine to build more thyroid hormone. There's other individual nuances here. But for the general population, if you're somebody who is, not metabolically compromised or, coming from some sort of severe condition, fasting every single day is totally fine. But the thing is, you shouldn't feel like you have to do it, okay? Again, it should be something that is, done out of choice, okay? Recently, I've actually been doing OMAD, so 1 meal a day, pretty much for the past 3 weeks straight, which, again, you guys know I always do these little strategies. I dump around, I experiment, with lots of different variations. But this is something I've done for years, and it's at a point where, again, I've realized there's no point in trying to do whatever the best one is, because as long as you have the fat adaptation in place, as long as you have the keto metabolism, okay, because keto and fasted state are the same thing, okay, if you're not eating sugar, it doesn't matter if you're not eating anything, it's not eating sugar, your body's going to enter a ketogenic state. So for those of you who are new, fasted state is the keto state. If you like intermittent fasting, you already like keto, and you've only tasted a sliver of it. You've only tasted a sliver of the pie. Okay? So anyways, back to what I'm saying is, once you get to a point where you've ran through absolutely everything, you realize that, hey, I'm just going to let my life take the lead and not let this fitness stuff, run the show, because I have goals in life. Okay? So that's kind of the way you should, play it. But OMAD stuff, I've been doing this about 20 hours a day for every single day for the past few weeks. And this is, again, there's no problems I've run into here. But it's not even just that. I've looked into the research on these things. There's not really a problem unless you're somebody who's metabolically compromised. Riffing off of that sort of fat adaptation metabolism I was speaking about, the thing is, what amount of fasting every week is going to get you more fat loss, right? Valid question. It's not like there's a sweet spot. In this case, it is a bit of a linear relationship, because of course your total macros, your total calories, those things matter. Your protein intake, those things matter for when you are eating, okay? But again, they're only one side of the coin if you've seen my other videos, but they do matter, right? But example, if you're eating those same food amounts every single day and the same meals, pretend you're just eating the same thing every single day, and you start fasting and you're thinking, should I fast 3 days a week or 7 days a week? Literally, 7 would get you more fat loss. In that case, you could do it proactively and say, I want to fast every single day in order to milk out more fat loss. That's one thing you could do. But the thing is, you don't necessarily have to do this, but you should treat it with the attitude of it is a linear relationship. The more I do, the more I will milk out here, the more I'll get. So if you don't want to do the 7th day and you wake up on, Sunday, don't do it. But the point is, if you wake up every day with the intention to do it, then in that case, that's a great way to set up a sort of aggressive fasting routine. Okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but you have to know, if you do want more, if you do want to step on the gas pedal a bit more fasting will lead to more fat loss. Especially if you are working out while you're fasted. Now, this is a big tip too that not many people talk about, but here's one way to look at it if you're somebody who doesn't like fasting that many times per week, right? For whatever reason. If you're somebody who doesn't like it, then one way to, double the effectiveness of a fast is work out intensely, okay? Get some strength, resistance, and some sort of cardiovascular training in that same time. So my preferred recommendation is some sort of circuit style weightlifting training, okay? Not only because, short rest times is best for muscle building, but because that sort of, slightly elevated heart rate is going to lead to more fat loss, more anabolic upregulation of muscle building hormones in your muscle tissue. So things like that. But the point is, if you want to maximize the effectiveness of a fast and you don't want to do too many of them per week, let's say you only want to do 3, you could exercise during those times that you do fast, and that's going to get more, it's going to put more demand on your body, upregulate fat oxidation, okay, respiratory quotient. Essentially, there's a lot of other things that you can do in that time to make it more bang for your buck, okay? So that's one tip as well. If you don't like fasting as much and you want to feel like you're on top of things and you're playing your cards the best in your hand, okay? If you simply don't want to fast as many times per week. Another side note here is, again, if you haven't seen my other videos on intermittent fasting and people who are even passing out when they're fasting or something like that, if you are new to this and you want to give yourself some training wheels, start taking, a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium, so salt, get pink salt, Celtic salt, or Redmond salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of potassium chloride, not capsules, not pills, chloride, the salt form, okay? Links down below. But the point is, this is a protocol I explain in deeper detail in other videos. And the reason I'm saying such small conservative doses is because this is intermittent fasting we're talking about here. And you're never really going longer than a day, so you don't need large amounts of these electrolytes, and too much will make you have to crap yourself. So you don't want to run into that problem. Especially because you also have to consider that you're eating food at one point in the day. Whether you're fasting for 16 hours or 20 hours, you are going to eat food later that day, and there's going to be some sodium content coming in. There's going to be other electrolytes coming in those foods, and too much is going to make your body activate a salt flush and make you shit yourself. So again, start off, that's one way to get some crutches in here, some training wheels to make this easier, especially if you're having a hard time during workouts, okay? A lot of it is going to be, here's a short answer for fasted workouts being hard at first. It's either a hydration issue or a blood sugar issue. And with hydration, that's where the electrolytes come in and do the protocol I explained there. But keep in mind, that's a conservative dose, very small, to make it easier for the mainstream people who are new to this, okay? But at the same time, it's a blood sugar issue, and it's going to take time for your body to get adapted to intermittent fasting and accessing the keto state, and basically from there, over time, you will get better. The best way to make intermittent fasting easier is to do keto for a month and actually get fully fledged fat adapted. But you can learn about that in my other videos, because you have to remember, keto and fasted state are the same thing, okay? Keto simply means not eating sugar. It doesn't mean, dumping butter on everything, okay? It doesn't mean eating no protein. It simply means not eating sugar, okay? Now, that's it for this video, okay? I encourage you to like it, share it, wait patiently and eagerly for my upcoming Keto Manifesto and Keto Shred Guide, okay? And also subscribe and follow my Instagram. That's it for this video. Leave me some questions and comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. And also go to my website, romanoketo.com, for programs, coaching, consulting. The consulting is something I'm really going to dial up next year, because I've been doing a lot of long-term coaching, and a lot of people get more benefit by, a one-off call where I'll make you an action plan based off of the information we discuss in a Skype call. And from there, there's some email follow-ups, so there is some element of feedback to it. Okay, and it's a cheaper cost for a lot of people than shelling out $800 for long-term coaching, communication all the time. That is it for this video. Peace.